Number 2. This is a best of 5, and it's the Kaspersky King of the Hill 1,000 Euro Arena. Happens once a month, and it's a grand old time when it does. And we've already had one game happen. It's the last series to happen today, the last best of 5, and this one is worth 400 Euro. Big thank you to Kaspersky for putting this on, and big thank you to the people who, the admins who have allowed us to cast this for them. But spawning in the top right corner of the map, up 1 in this series, it's the Red Protoss from Mouse Sports. Give it up for MaNa, whose Twitter is not copy-pasting. One sec. There we go. You can find him on Twitter at MouseMaNa.
And on the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, it is going to be Liquid TLO.
You can find him on Twitter at Liquid TLO. Again, I always say this, and people are just like, they shrug it off a lot of the time. You don't understand the power of Twitter. Like, you might think, oh, these guys have like 30,000 followers. There's no way they care if I follow them. Wrong. There's a lot of players out there who do read and appreciate every tweet and every follower they get. They just don't necessarily reciprocate it through tweets themselves saying like, oh, thank you so-and-so for following me. But every single player I've ever talked to on Twitter has either been narcissistic or incredibly grateful for every follower they have. So if you do enjoy these players, if you want to keep up to date with what they do in the future, go follow them on Twitter. Trust me, it's a good way to show them some support.
I just always feel like it's kind of awkward to, you know, actually say thank you for all the Twitter followers, because then it sounds kind of narcissistic, right? Like, thanks, 30,000 followers.
I don't know. For me, I'm just grateful for any support we get, whether it's a subscription on Base Rate TV, whether it's a follower on Twitch, whether it's a follower from my personal Twitter. I'm always grateful. So for me, I have no problem saying thank you for like supporting us.
Your gratefulness comes through another follow by you. Like, you directly thank people, but to like just be like, thanks everyone, just always seems so, I don't know, awkward.
I don't know. Maybe it's the Canadian in me. I'm just full of manners.
Yeah,
what can
apparently.
I say? They just spill on out of me. I can't keep them contained. But one thing we're definitely not going to see this game, and I'm going to call it right now, is I think TLO, well, not just this game, but I don't think for the rest of this series TLO is going to try and play greedy for any of the maps. I mean, he did it on Whirlwind because of the map, right? Like, he was playing to the strengths of the map, not so much the player or the matchup, but man, I can't believe how hard MaNa shut that down. Like, TLO, I don't think he's necessarily scared of MaNa, but that definitely didn't put him in a good spot.
Well, I think on Frost, he might try and do it again, the triple hatch before pool, just because he knows that MaNa is, you know, goes for these gateway expands as he does again here. He's just going to make sure to get a Roach Warren, because you can survive with just Lings, but it's a lot, you know, safer to just throw it on a Roach Warren and get it in case they do nothing but Zealots, you know, off those 4 bases, and actually just stop that right there.
Oh, he's gonna get it. Wow.
First blood.
I was kind of like, okay, normally this probe gets home and peels off with like barely 1 health remaining, but all right, TLO got it. Zealot, the Zergling, of course, can't do too much right now, but once speed kicks in later, it's going to be a great tool for scouting. One unfortunate thing is, as we see MaNa leaving the Mothership core position outside the natural ramp, means he can't really leave Lings out there to watch, because of course the Mothership core will pick them off. So it's a bit of an awkward thing to do, but he has to leave this off to the side for the time being.
Well, it is a probe.
Yeah, Stargate coming up at home too. So MaNa, do you think he'd go for Oracles? I mean, I've seen him do it versus Zerg before, but I never really see it be too effective. Queens are so good at defending.
I think Oracles are good when you pair it with some type of aggression, like another Zealot warp in and take down the Queens, and then the drones are, you know, free to kill, and that's definitely good. And as we see, there's a proxy pylon, so that might be what he's thinking about.
Just again, sorry to address this to the chat real quick of our live chat. You guys who are doing mods, you're free to do what you like, but please don't ban people simply for speaking Korean. Everyone's welcome to enjoy the chat. Everyone's welcome to enjoy the Twitch channel. Just if they start spamming or something like English, Korean, doesn't matter. Like, you can time out spammers, go ahead, but you know, don't get all like I can't read what you're saying, you're not allowed to be here, because that's not how we operate, guys. But anyways, unfortunately the Overlord does get killed, and I don't know, did it see the Stargate? It did. Okay. It did.
Yeah. Did it really notice what's coming out of there? Maybe. But I mean, either way, you're gonna get a spore crawler.
On the halted vision there, it actually shows on TLO's vision. You can see clearly it's an Oracle. That's cool. I didn't actually know you could see that like that.
Yeah. Well, there's an attack coming. The proxy pylon has been used, and they did warp in a lot of Zealots. That's exactly what I was talking about. Nothing but Lings again, though, for TLO. Now, this is off 3 gateways instead of 4. So it's not as powerful, but it's still pretty good. Again, Lings just do not cost-effectively trade against Zealots, especially when they don't have a full surround, which they won't, because they're already at Mixo Hatchery.
This is so unfortunate. TLO just can't maintain thirds. Is what it comes down to, it feels. Of course, with the Lings will clean up the Zealots quite nicely, but the Oracle might just fry a lot of these alive, trying to stay away from the Spore Crawler, of course. Yeah, second Queen gonna get here too late. Actually,
The
maybe
Proxy
not. I don't
Pylon
know.
was cleaned up too, by the way. Like, it's no longer there, so Lings must have cleaned it up.
Great move out of TLO. Of course, this is the best way to really stint Protoss' production. You just got to cut off that reinforcement point. But Mothership, of course, still stands for now. Oracle's not going to get a lot done. It's looking for an opening, but there's Spore Crawlers at the bases. So TLO's not left this unguarded. Despite the fact that he pulled the Queens, still all right.
Well, he got the Spore Curls up really, really quickly, so there wasn't even an opportunity. And plus, I feel like MaNa, like, maybe if he said the third wasn't, I wasn't going to be able to get the third, he would have maybe targeted on the Queens a bit more, tried to target on the Spore, something like that. But because he's able to do the third, that's probably better than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, well, knocking down a Zerg player's hatchery, that not only stops the mining, but more important than that, really puts a hold in their production. But has to stack up a little bit. Oracle does get a couple kills. It looks like he's going to sacrifice. No, he does pull it back. So 4 kills, nothing crazy. Keeps it alive for Revelation of later use. I do like, it makes no sense to me, the mechanics of Revelation, because of course if you burrow a roach that gets revealed or something, it goes away, but when it unburrows, it's back. I'm like, so what, you just closed your eyes when they burrowed? I don't understand how that works.
Well, we have no idea what they do when they do the Revelation. Like, do they put a chip on them or something? I don't know.
Yeah, well anyways, Void Ray's been revealed and TLO can immediately make some Hydrals. Would like to see some extra Queen production too. Of course, he doesn't know that this is going to be continued Void Rays. He might just think it's the one expecting like a counterattack of Roaches, which TLO's not doing. But MaNa is investing in more.
Well, he's getting a Hydralist Den, so he's going to go the Ling Hydra style. He's also getting only one upgrade. Usually you see double Evo, but he's only getting one, so he's investing a lot into the Carapace. Also getting the... no, he switched twice, but he is getting the speed first for his Hydralist. That was a pretty sick Revelation, by the way. It was really, really everything at the natural.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I lag spiked there. I hope I didn't wreck the game. If I do, can you just tell me so that I can Alt F4 immediately?
I think it's just Skype, because nothing happened in the game.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Again, I'm paranoid. You get DDoS once, the rest of the day you're just like on edge, like, oh god, really? But the Hydra's going to be great. The follow-up, of course, will be the Colossus coming up shortly. This is kind of a weird trade. Normally, it's the Phoenix opener that leads into the Hydralisks, that leads into this back and forth between Protoss and Zerg, but instead, the Void Rays have accomplished the same goal. So with the Hydralisk coming out, we'll be getting his own Colossus behind this.
Well, Colossus is going to be out in time. He's going to have extended thermal lance before TLO, attacks. He's getting a Spire down really quickly. Of course, you're going to expect them to get a Colossus because just Void Rays and Zealots is super hard to really pull off. So you're going to go ahead and get those Corruptors. Plus, if you really want to, I mean... Mutalisk switches are better in games than other games, of course, but it's always a threat when you have a Spire.
Yeah, I mean, Mutalisks in general, like, that's probably the one unit everybody's struggling with right now, let's be honest. Zerg versus Zerg, Zerg versus Terran, Zerg versus Protoss. Nobody likes dancing with the Mutalisks, but MaNa is, he should be able to hold this initial push quite nicely, actually. This is a lot of Hydras, but he's got a lot of force fields available. Colossus is not out just yet, but... Again, this is the most dangerous thing. Here comes that Colossus now, so MaNa even in a better spot in that regard. Doesn't have Thermal Lance, of course, but still going to push on forward.
Some force fields, not the greatest ones. They barely don't get a Hydralisk, in fact. The Void Rays and the Colossus still alive. Most of it does go down. That's
Laser
a better
beams.
force fields, yeah. The Zealots do not have charge, I believe, so they would be a lot more effective if they did. And the MaNa does have the pullback.
Well, at the moment, of course, the Zealots are really only intended to soak the damage so that the Colossus doesn't get focused down and the Lings can't just run past everything. So, yeah, charge would be fantastic, but it's obviously not the goal for the time being. We do have the Twilight Council on the way. We may see him invest into it now. Of course, Charge Lot's so good at connecting to the Hydralisk, but if the Mutalisks are revealed early enough, might instead invest into Blink, which he's going to absolutely need if he wants to keep up with this. Or alternatively, throw down a second Stargate and pump Phoenixes. But at the moment, MaNa is actually not really best prepared for this Mutalisk swap.
No. Has he even seen the Spire?
I don't believe
Yes,
so.
he did see the Spire, in fact.
Oh.
He saw it. He might have thought it was a Spore Crawler, maybe, but I think it is. He's getting Blink right now. I think he's, going to be prepared.
Yeah.
He's also getting a bunch of cannons, so... It's still, even though you're prepared, it's still it still can be very hard to deal with. I mean, like for instance, the natural right now is completely open, and Mutalisk are pretty fast.
Yeah, that's really their truest strength too. It's not the damage they deal. It's not like the fact that they heal, which are both great compliments, of course. But it's the fact that they're so mobile, and even with Blink, sometimes it's really hard to keep up with it. TLO, however, is going to head straight for the main. There are stalkers, there is a cannon, and looks like we've got Phoenixes being produced. So the Mutalisk swap not going to be nearly as deadly as I think TLO is hoping for it to be, but will still be a problem for MaNa to deal with regardless.
They're always a problem. Like if you can stop them from just being like all of them killed early, and you get up to that really scary like 40 count, for instance, they can be very, very terrifying. But MaNa, he is investing into a bit of everything right now. Some Phoenixes, some Stalkers. He still has the initial army as well, so the Hydra Ling isn't going to do too much.
TLO double expanding, by the way. Bases number 5 and 6 both coming up simultaneously. Of course, I love when Zerg double expand on maps like this because, of course, it's expected almost you'll lose one of those bases to just transfer across the map to go to the other.
He's going to get Blink.
Oh,
he's
he
going to get
stops
Blink.
Oh, this is going to be big.
Oh my god, there's no... Oh, that would be really,
the Stalkers
really nice.
are coming, but they're choked in. This is going to really put a crimp on MaNa's style. He does lose Blink, and the time it's going to take to rebuild this is going to be almost, quite frankly, impossible to deal with. Meanwhile, Lings and Hydras do flood into the third while the army's drawn to the Mutalisks. Zealot's working quite nicely to actually choke this off, and TLO's going to be limited on the damage he can do. He's going to left the third base to be an A-move situation while he's microing the Mutalisks around. Hasn't lost too many of the Mutalisks, and of course, they are the key part of this, but looks like the Zealots did fall. The cannons ran out, and the third base goes down. MaNa now stuck on 2 bases to the 6 of TLO. TLO's going to be able to lose all of these units and be perfectly fine.
Plus, he sniped all the Colossus. And with the Corruptors coming out, the Colossus is probably still not going to be any great at all. But you need some splash. You need Corruptors for the Phoenix as well, of course. But you need some splash, right? But he lost his Twilight Council, so that means he also delayed the Storm and the High Templars for a very long time. It's going to be very difficult for him to come through this.
Burst going to go down. Oh, does get the overcharge off at the very least.
Oh, God.
Everything gets out of here barely alive with that tissue regen. They're going to heal up quite nicely. Now, Zombie Girl, we do have the second Stargate coming down. You want to talk about the dance of Phoenixes and Corruptors?
It's a dance? Like, I don't know. They're the same range. No, that's not the same range, actually, until they have the upgrade. And the upgrade's not on the way.
Yeah, and actually, we might not even get to that stage. There's only 2 Phoenixes, and TLO's been picking them off as this game continues. There's a lot of Stalkers, but again, no Blinks is going to make it hard to dance with the Mutalisks. Zerglings are going to soak a lot of the hits on the ground, but the Corruptors are, quite frankly, actually useless right now. Nonetheless, good game's going to be called, and TLO will tie this up 1-1. I was kind of hoping you'd go into, like, more about the Onion Pulse crystals for maybe our not most educated viewers.
Sorry. You just said Phoenix versus Corruptor, so I was like, how do you get the Corruptors to counter the Phoenix?
Zombie Grub confirmed Snop, guys.
Huh.
Of course, I don't mean that. We are going to get into the next map here in a moment's time. It's going to be Frost by the looks of it. So, guys, we'll see you.